Hello and welcome back to the next tutorial in this series. Okay, today I want to make some adjustments to scene D, as I had rendered out some test scenes and it looks a little bit in slow motion. So I just want to change the timing on it, which is very important. So I'm just going to come up here to the scene layout and I'm going to choose the animation layout. I'm also going to come over to our scenes tab and select scene D. Okay, so just going to roll the mouse wheel just to zoom in a little bit, and I'm just going to press and hold the middle mouse button on the timeline and drag this over. Right, what I want to do is come up here and roll the mouse wheel just to zoom in, maybe snap this timeline back to the beginning. Okay, everything to the left of this timeline we're not going to be worried about. It's from the previous scene. It's just everything to the right that we have to make some modifications to. So I'm just going to press A to deselect everything. If I select these keyframes on the timeline, this is actually the camera setup. So if I left select the camera, we have placed a keyframe at the beginning, as you can see here. So I'm just going to snap that back. I'm just going to press A to deselect everything. What I want to do is drag everything from these keyframes back in proportion to the beginning. So I'm just going to press B for box select, press and hold the left mouse button and drag a selection, and I'm just going to press G and move my cursor to the left until they line up at the beginning. Okay, and I'm going to press A now just to deselect, and if I select his head, you can see between 10 frames he makes a little rotation, and then there's a large gap. There's a second, maybe a second and a half before he actually presses the button. So I'm just going to snap this back to the beginning. What I want to do is drag all these keyframes up, which are essentially his hand. So I'm just going to select this here. I'm going to press A just to deselect. Okay, so it begins here with his hand in the upright position, and then it starts to it starts from here, it begins. So what I want to do is press B to make a box selection and just press and hold the left mouse button, drag one down and release, and I'm going to press G and I'm just going to move everything over. Okay, maybe to about here. Left click when I'm happy just to lock that in position. I'm just going to press and hold the mouse button, just the right mouse button, just to drag this back across. Okay. And from this point, which is 485.15, I want to drag this back a little bit. So I want from 585, I want maybe 6 frames, or sorry, maybe 12 frames, so we're not too bad. Just going to right click here to bring these out here. I'm just going to press A to deselect everything. I'm just going to left click these and press G and just move them back, maybe back to about, okay, to about here. Left click and lock them in. Also going to left click in the end box down here and just drag this to maybe 500, and if I can't get that, I'm just going to select left click in here and type in 500, and that'll be our end, and that should do it. I'm going to render out some of these. So what I'm going to do is come over to this tab here, and under output, I'm just going to select an output folder and left click in here. I'm going to choose, I don't have a folder yet, so I'm going to create a new folder and call this scene D and press enter, and I'm going to double click and I'm going to come up here and left click accept that. Okay, and they're set for PNGs. I'm going to come up here and under presets, sorry, that's all set up. I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to put this on full screen. And just before I do this, I'm just going to press Control S just to save that. And I'm going to press animation, and this will render out. I'm just going to snap this back to the beginning. I don't think it makes a difference. I'm just going to left click animation, and that will start rendering out the frames into the folder I just created. And that might take, depends on how fast my computer is working today. Okay, I've forgotten to switch on all the layers, so I need to come down here to the layers and just press and hold shift and select that, and that's all of the layers I need. So again, I'm just going to come up to the animation and click this and let it begin rendering. So that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.